You know who you want to be, who you were born to be, and what you were put here to do. So knowing these three things is probably one of the most important gifts in this world. But there is something underpinning this. A question most don't ask, will never ask, don't dare to question, which is ironic, because it's the very way to their freedom. What is stopping me? You really think about it. What is stopping you? People will point to external things and say, oh, I can't do it because of this, or I need that, or I need the other. I mean, consider a YouTuber. There are people who are firmly convinced that in order to get onto this medium, they need to study editing, lighting, and all of the rest of this stuff. The simple fact, my friend, is content is king, and I'm going to prove this to you with the videos that I put out. Because if you got that product that is uncut raw, that nobody else could even come close to, you could sit there and film that on a potato and it'll go global. This is exactly what I'm saying. Go and read the article, The Ego Tries to Sell You What You Already Own, and you'll see how much of a scam that this all is. Because we look at people who have made quote-unquote success, but on whose terms? That is the question. Theirs or somebody else's? You don't know the puppet strings that go behind all of this. It's like Disraeli said, the world is governed by very different personages to those who are not privy to what kicks. There are some people who are willing to compromise to get what they wish by giving up something which should never really be sacrificed. And then there are the rest of us who would rather continue on our own path and see where that leads, without these extra strings and things they sing about, so you refuse to bring them out. Now, what I mean by this is, first and foremost, the limits that you accept are ones in your head, and they came from events back when. Now, at the time, they may have served their purpose because survival was the name of the game, and your parents may have been pretty much insane. But now, that's akin to having a kink in a hosepipe which prevents the flow. Now, you have to look back and redress these things. This is why time and time again I keep on stressing the timeline technique that's in the article, What's Your Philosophy?, published at whalehelp.me. If you do nothing else just beyond that, I guarantee that your life will change. It's like I told you, people have came from far and wide, and all of them draw a timeline from 0 to 10. I have not yet met one person with more than 4 years of memories that they can fill. Those other 6 are what Jung called the shadow's depth, and that, my friend, is what is running your existence. For example, let's say if you had a father that was too bold, and a mother that was never satisfied, that meant that your confidence would get a ding, yes? That means that you'd constantly be looking outside for reassurance. I need this, I need that, someone else is doing it this way, I should do it that way. Your own internal voice is something that you cannot even listen to nor comprehend. But the wildest thing is when it does talk, you will flat out refuse to listen. If this rings a bell within, look back at your life, and I guarantee you'll have found an event where you should have went one way and you went another, because you refused to listen to that internal guidance. Now, if you were born to malignant narcissist like this, you need the process more than anybody else. Now, on the flip, we have the golden child aesthetic, where everything you do is correct and nothing can go wrong. Problem is, the world isn't sunshine and rainbows, and not everyone else will kiss your ass like that. Now, you can figure your own problems out, do you know what I mean? Or not, because the funny thing is, there is an upside to the golden child, and that is, life often works out pretty well for them, even though they feel absolutely nothing within and are constantly numbed and have a huge amount of imposter syndrome as well. Externally, they'll never admit it, but these are the people who are like quiet alcoholics, do you know what I mean? So, it's all good. It's like I told you in the article, everyone is winging it, because everyone is. If people had a TV screen on their forehead that let you see their thoughts, you'd realize how much everyone is just fronting and how fake all of this truly is. And the wicked thing is once you gain that liberation, then there's no more performance. It's like I told you in the last video, people are acting a role and it's not coming from their soul, it's coming from the script that was pinned in their head. And that's it's not good, my friend. Not good at all. Something to consider is this, because if I asked you on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the wackest and 10 being the absolute best, firing on all cylinders. Did you notice how you knew in an instant exactly where you sit? Now, you can call that the multiverse effect, you can call that layers of reality, you can call that manifestation. I'll give you a simplest tip, right, is you find out, you just sit there and quietly imagine what the highest rating version of you did to get there, then reverse engineer it to where you're sitting now, and then put that into practice. That's it. That's the basic framework for success and winning and the actualization of self. Then you will find all the things that resist this. That's when you journey to the past. Once you journey to the past, you need the resources to rewrite and recorrect these things, but it's all in your head anyway because time does not exist. You interact with these aspects, you integrate them, you bring them to the future, which is their future, which is now, by explaining that only now exists. Therefore, you share the resources and the insight that you gained. You know how people say, if I could go back to then with what I know now? Well, you can. Who said the time only flows one way? Why do you believe this mess? Huh? Why not test for yourself? Now, you put these aspects together, give them a little bit of a shake, and serve it up with some special sauce, and you're good to go. I guarantee you, if you give that a kick, even if you fail, you will still win. I guarantee you that. Till we meet again.